Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is my AfterThoughts review of Battlefield 1. Roar! It's like World War 1, eh? Again, they should be handed a badge for courage, but the good news is, it worked out. Yo! Yes. This is gonna be the first of a couple of videos of almost what I want to call almost like Blue Star's Big 3. It's like Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And I have a feeling it's probably gonna be a lot of other people's Big 3 too. So anyway, obviously this video is about Battlefield 1. And it was, it was certainly a surprise to, hear about, it's like, they're gonna do World War 1? That's kind of odd. I have to agree with, I think, the director. It's like, what? Trench warfare? That doesn't sound like fun at all. It's like, that sounds terrible. And, it was. I mean, real trench warfare was obviously really awful. As, of course, all warfare is, of course. Dear, oh dear. So anyway, but the point here, yes, but however, they were able to pull this off pretty good, and I think overall I really like it. It's good. I mean, I think the approach of this game was less is more. I mean, you have less weapon options. I mean, there's actually a lot less exact guns, but you have a lot less options, but that may not necessarily be a bad thing. Like Battlefield 4 was just simply overloaded with options and attachments and things, and it's just like, and all the guns felt the same, so it's like, oh, which gun do I use and what do I put on it? And it's like, oh, I'm gonna spend all day unlocking this one attachment and stuff, and so it kind of actually worked out, I think, for the better to actually just have, there's really only like, in some ways, only like 4 physical guns or for each class, but they all have like different variants, and I think that was the way to go. And certainly, World War 1 and all these weapons are definitely something that hasn't been explored before a lot. Unfortunately, for good reason. Because, I will also have to say, I think the movie War Horse really did show, the sort of almost in a way, the whole thing of World War 1 from like its beginning and its end and everything. And I do appreciate that that Battlefield 1 is trying to, portray this portray this game as, it's like, we're not trying to show this as horrifically as it could have been, but we're not trying to pretend that it was okay either. It's like, it's bad, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. And I've definitely seen a heck of a lot worse in other video games and stuff. So, yeah, so I appreciate that. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I know almost the way the biggest thing that mattered to me a lot was the single player, because Battlefield generally doesn't really do single player very well. In fact, Battlefield 4's single player was flat broken, which as a programmer is pretty much the worst thing I can say about another program, is that it's flat broken. It's like, not only does it not do what it was supposed to do, but it's broken and it breaks. I mean, it's like the campaign, literally, you could play a level and lose your progress. I mean, it's like, I'm amazed, this is a major game company. It's like, they should not have those kinds of mistakes, but whatever. But anyway, this one, first of all, it works, so that was a big improvement over Battlefield 4, and it was actually kind of good. It could have been better, but it was definitely good, and I liked it. And I think they may have hit upon kind of a good idea in that, instead of doing one big long campaign, we're going to do a whole bunch of little smaller ones, that might be on the order of maybe 2 or so hours each. And I think that was a really good idea for a couple of reasons. That the first being, let's say you hate tanks or you hate airplanes. It's like, you don't have to play through that at all if you don't want to. Or stuff, or I don't want to do that right now, I'll do this campaign first, so I like that idea, so that was cool. Or the flip side of this, let's say you love tanks, or you love airplanes, you want to start off with that, well, you can do that too, or if you really want, or you could play, I'll play a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one, a little bit of that one, a little bit of that one. and stuff, so they would have options, which is good. And each of the stories was pretty good. I mean, in some ways they could have been better, but definitely were sufficient, I would say. It's like, but it was still pretty good. That, you actually kind of genuinely cared about these characters. You had a little bit of a connection. It wasn't in the usual cliche, we're trying too hard kind of ways that sometimes games sometimes do. I think they genuinely succeeded in, in actually getting us to care about these characters a little bit. And their stories were mostly believable. They were kind of interesting, and they were just good overall. And it was kind of... Interestingly, there's one thing that was kind of surprising about this game is it is very educational. Thought we learned things about World War I that most people probably never even knew about. Like, I think a lot of people's... The first thing, like, the trailer was surprising was the pigeon. Why is there a pigeon here? The reason is because, well, this was before radios. I mean, they had radios, but... this is before radios were being commonplace. So the only way that a tank would, or an airplane, or anybody would have, would be able to talk with command would be to basically write a message and put it on the pigeon and send it to command. That was literally the only line of communication you had with the command center. So... And that's what was surprising about this game is that, as you go through and you do these, like, achievements or these missions or whatever, or challenges, and you actually unlock little pieces of information and these little codex things about World War I, which I think is actually pretty cool. I enjoy that. It's like, I find myself being like, I'd rather play this campaign more and get those challenges completed than, say, playing, like, Titanfall's challenges and, find these helmets and stuff. It's like, and get an achievement, and then, okay, that's nice. But, I'd rather do these, because not to mention their challenges are much more interesting and much more harder, and I think much more fun. I mean, some of them are, like, just crazy. It's like, what? I'll never be able to do that, or something. Or somebody's, that doesn't sound so hard, but it ends up actually being kind of hard and stuff, and I like it. I like it, and And the other nice thing is that there was a lot of different kinds of stories. I mean, obviously, again, airplanes, tanks. You had one where you were in, basically fighting with Lawrence of Arabia. That was kind of cool. And each had different styles, and in a lot of ways dealt with things that that a lot of times you don't deal with. Again, like, they're trying to show, and that's the other thing, is that they're, again, being educational, they're trying to show you this was a true World War. It wasn't just the trenches in France. It was everywhere. I think, and they also touched upon things that are not touched upon. Like, you play, one campaign where you're a runner. Your job is literally, in theory, your job is to not go around fighting people. It's to fight, run from the front lines back to command and relay what's going on so that command can tell them. So then you could probably run back to the front so you can go from command and run to the front lines and tell them what they need to go do. So that's not something that's really been touched upon in video games. We've seen it done. It's like, hey, you go, you'll see a character, you'll see, as the player, you'll see another character say to another character, say, hey, you, go back to command and tell them this, but you've never actually played as that character before, or if you have, it hasn't been a lot. But still, again, it's not that big of a deal, but it's still kind of interesting and nice to do stuff that just simply hasn't really been done a whole lot. And I think that really is really much how this game is operating, and I think it was definitely very successful in doing so. Alright, and so now I'm going to go on to the multiplayer a little bit. I definitely like the multiplayer. It's like, there's definitely a mode for everyone and for every occasion, like, from the extremes, like Operations, which is obviously a very time-consuming mode. It could take an hour plus, depending on how your team does to finish it. But it's kind of fun, and because it's sort of a combination of all of them, and it's sort of like, it's almost like fighting like one battle, if you will. And it's like, if you progress, like if your team progresses this far through this battle, well, then you progress to the next one, or if you lose this one and stuff, and my brain is malfunctioning, so. But I like it that, but you basically get like 3 chances to win the battle, and if you do, then you progress to the next stage, and if you don't, well, then you lose, so meh. But I kind of like it. And then there's obviously the conquest mode, where basically, planes, tanks, horses, infantrymen, and behemoths and stuff, and it's really fun, and I like that. That's a fun mode. I mean, rush, and, it's like, again, that's sort of like a medium mode that goes on like 20 minutes to 40 minutes or something like that, or something. And then there's like rush, which is a lot faster, and then it's like was it war pigeons? It's like it's like a game of all this pigeon stuff. It reminds me of I can't remember the cartoon. I'm sure it was a show in the 60s or something like that, where it's like, stop the pigeon, stop the pigeon, stop that pigeon now. Where it's all about the character trying to catch a pigeon, and it's exactly this kind. It's sort of that kind of mode where it's like you have to get the pigeon, and then I guess I've never actually gotten the pigeon myself. I've helped deliver it a few times, but I've never actually picked up the pigeon myself. But anyway, so but yeah, it's like you have to hold the pigeon for a certain amount of time, and then let it go and send it a command, and then the enemy team might have just enough, a little bit of time to try to shoot down the pigeon before it gets away and all that. So, so again, it's a more shorter mode, and I do like the multiplayer, and I do also like the way that the guns are kind of being done. I mean, it's kind of in some ways disappointing at first. It was like, oh, there's like no options, and it's kind of disappointing. But at the same time, it makes this a lot simpler, a lot easier, and one thing I'm not happy about is that there's no way to manage your soldier, your classes, all this stuff, unless you're in a game. You can't go to like your start menu or wherever, or your soldier menu, and go and adjust these things and tweak them and change them. You have to basically be in a game to do so, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but it is kind of frustrating. It's like, why can't you just, because like sometimes I just want to go through my stuff and just look at it and just see, what do I have, or what do I want to do next and stuff. So it's just yeah, so I hope that's something they add at some point, but anyway, but overall, I still like it. Again, I think less is more. I think ultimately works for this game. I mean, it's definitely going to be. It takes some getting used to, of course, because the guns are not as they obviously. I mean, there are a lot of automatic weapons in this game. I do have to say that yes, there were in fact automatic weapons other than machine guns in World War I. However, I have a feeling that most of them are the same situation as the BAR, or the BAR, is that they entered the service 3 months before the war ended. So they didn't really have the opportunity to make a difference or not, or anything like that. So in some ways it feels sort of like cheating a little bit. But still, but not yes and no sort of a thing. But you know what, that's fine and everything. But still, it's not really cheating, but whatever. Anyway. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of options and stuff. There's enough. I think there's not a lot of options, but there are options, which is the good part. And I think honestly, there's probably a lot more. There's a lot of other people who are reviewing the multiplayer and doing probably a far better job of it than me. So, but all I'm going to say is I definitely like the multiplayer. I like the way that it works, and there's definitely a mode for everybody in that. If you want to play an hour-long thing, okay. But if you don't have a lot of time, you just want to have a little bit of, or you want to play more casual, you just want to have fun, then there's some quicker modes that are, and then obviously there's classic team deathmatch if you really want to play that, which probably most people don't. But yeah, I mean, one thing I definitely don't like is definitely sandstorms, fog, and stuff. Yes, it was a real world problem, but as I said in my first impressions video, it's like, this doesn't make this difficult. This makes this impossible! It's like, it instantly zaps the fun out of this. It's like I was on a behemoth, I was on the Dreadnought on one of the maps, and the fog rolls in. And I was on one of the anti-aircrafts, and I'm trying to and I know that there are enemy planes somewhere over there, but I literally can't see. It's like at one point a plane flies probably even, I would say maybe 200 feet or so from the ship, and it's like I can barely see this plane. It's like there's no way that I can fire at it or shoot at it. So I'm just like so I may as well just sit here and twiddle my thumbs, because I can't see, because even if this plane flies right overhead, I can't fire at it and shoot at it. And in some ways I should just not fire at all, because that's probably giving away our positions. So again, I may as well just sit here and twiddle my thumbs, because or go and leave and do something else, because I can't do anything here. It's like, this has sucked all the fun out of this, Yeah, so yeah, I definitely, if I could remove, I would definitely remove fog and sandstorms and stuff from this game, because it literally just makes this, it just simply makes it impossible. It just simply zaps all the fun out of it instantly, and that's just not cool. Again, it was a real world problem, but let's face it, this is a video game. You know, I'm here to have fun, you know, and stuff. So that's simply no fun when I can't see like 10 feet in front of me and stuff. So that's not cool. So anyway, yeah. But overall, I do like this game. I do like that it's also a teamwork based game. Even if you're loose, I mean, it's almost always worthwhile to join a squad. Even if you're loosely working with them, it's always better to do that. And it's definitely a lot more fun because sometimes you can actually work together, even, you know, work together fairly well with a squad, even if you're not trying that hard or something. It's like, and, you know, and it's also interesting that, you know, it's not just simply a matter of, okay, pick your favorite class. It's like, no, you have to pick the class that's the most appropriate for the situation that you and your team are in at the moment. Like if you're facing a whole bunch of tanks, then switch to the assault class, and which has a lot of anti-vehicle stuff. Or if if you see your team is kind of in trouble, you might want to switch. You might want to switch to the medic class or the support class, and, you know, throw them ammo and health packs and stuff. And just, again, it's just always good to encourage teamwork, but at the same time, it's still possible for you to do stuff on your own and everything. And overall, I think this game is really fun, and I just like it. I was thinking, I was going to say some of my favorite moments, it's hopefully not just a few, is that, oh yeah, it's like, I think one of my first was that, I was like, I must admit, I just love shooting at airplanes from the ground, even though I know I'm probably not going to hit it or I'm not going to do any damage to it. But one time, I think I was using the Lawrence of Arabia rifle, and I fire at a plane, and it says like, engine disabled. It's like, whoa, that was so cool. I actually hit the engine of this plane, and actually, I don't know if it actually crashed and was destroyed, or if it was just like, oh dear. It's like, oh no, it just managed to pull out at the last moment, but that was still pretty cool. That was an amazingly lucky shot. And unfortunately, on the other side, it's like I was in a plane in the forward gunner's position, and someone shot me, and falling out of the plane. It's like, that was a great shot, unfortunately. But still, that was a great shot. That was awesome. I mean, that was incredibly good or lucky shot. But either way, that was kind of cool. I mean, obviously, it's like being shot and falling out of an airplane hurts. Ow! But still, that was cool. It's like, yeah, the other thing that that was kind of cool one time was that, well, it wasn't actually... Well, sort of. Anyways, like I'm in the attack plane, and I'm trying to do what's called an Immelman loop, which is where you pull up like this, and then I'm gonna switch to this, roll over like that. Unfortunately, I think I ended up going more like this, and the gunner in the back decided that I didn't know what I was doing, and I was gonna crash, and decided to jump out. I almost had a thought that, you know. I will say this is like this is starting to become a little bit too long, but I will say this, like I was almost thinking that I almost want to tell the gunner, okay, gunner, point, you know, look up. And it's like, go into the loop. It's like, because if the gunner's looking this way, the plane is going to be right there. or the enemy plane is going to try to chase you. It's going to try to chase you, and you'll be right there. See, this is the thing. It's like, I fly model airplanes, and I know a little bit about, you know, aerobatics and dogfighting and stuff, so I actually know some of these maneuvers, so those will actually be kind of helpful. And that's the thing I do like about that, is that they do have the quote-unquote realistic controls where you can actually maneuver, roll, and bank, and, you know, your airplane the quote-unquote the right way. I was a little disappointed that in the campaign that was not the case, and that it operates almost like I like to call the flying gun turret model, where basically your plane just kind of does this, and you can kind of maneuver, but you can't really maneuver the way a real airplane can. Especially, it's frustrating when in the first training level where you can see the airplane, it's rolling and pitching and banking the way that a real plane does, and I'm trying to follow it, and it's like I can't roll over and stuff, and but oh well, I did like that campaign. That was fun. So so anyway, yeah, so I think I have rambled on enough about this game, so so thank you for watching, and I guess see you on the battlefield, on the first modern battlefield. Hopefully we'll be on the same side, but if not, I'll see you in battle in Battlefield 1. So as always, thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for commenting, liking, and subscribing, and until next time, this is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on. Blue Star out.